Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to write our console GUI framework from scratch. So to start, I want to create a class that I will tell you why I want to create this. I will name it as application and then add it. Yep, let me write it as public. Here, let's start here. The reason is that well, I don't want to write really any kind of functionality inside a static function, because it will force me to write the other static functions to write the business. So I will create a class here, and then I will continue writing my actual code inside of that class, which here is application, app, new application, and there you go. And let's get rid of this hello world template code. Going here. Now I want to write public void run to run the application, right? And here. So let's get back to the program. Now I will write app.run. Now we're writing our real code inside of a class. So I believe that it's a very good habit to, if you want to write a console application, please get rid of that static method for the entry point of the application. By the way, we don't really need these arguments that are coming down, because it will be a framework that will be used inside of other console applications. For now, we're writing our framework inside a console application, but then at the end, I will move it to a library class, so you can see that I can link it to wherever I want to go to the other console applications, and how will it actually work there, right? So coming back here to application, what do we need here is a way to actually render our code, right? So in the other word, we need a render class, right? So let's try this. I will create a new class here, new item, class renderer here, public interface, and then I renderer. So again, why do we need an interface and a class? Well, the reason, let me write this. Okay. The reason is that I'm going to separate the implementation from the definition. So whenever you change your implementation, which here is the renderer, your app won't change a lot. And it's actually the best practice to use interface in here. So let's write here as void render. For now, I don't want to really add anything as input, because we're going to develop this console GUI piece by piece. Right now, I don't need any input, and here we just need to implement the interface, which is this. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm going to write here console.writeLine draw. And now here I will create renderer, enter, writing renderer dot render. Now let's run our application. Yes, it wrote draw. So now I don't really feel good about the renderer name, so I will change the name to render engine, and the iRenderer to the same, but iRender engine. And here also render engine. Well, to refactor these names, I used the short key as Control RR. Now we are going to render something here. We need to actually pass to our render method. What do we need here? We need a frame to be rendered, right? So I will pass iframe frame. Now let me just take it off of there. Going to render engine in here, pass it here, and now you might say, oh, we don't have an iframe. Yes, we don't have it, but we will create it. I will create a new folder here saying frames, and inside of that I will go to create an iframe interface, which it's gonna be public. Now here, interface, iframe. What does an iframe has? The iframe shall have a position. Let's say position, get and set, and it does have a map. So I will write map here and get. So as we can see, we don't have a position and an imap. Yes, but we are going to create these. So for now, let's create another folder for here. Let's call it data. And inside of that data, we're going to create a position, public struct, and now public int x, public int y. And now let's create a map here, public imap. Now here, public interface imap. So let's start with the map. What does a map has? The map has a private list of let's say cell, and here cell. What's the responsibility of this class? Well, this class has the map of a frame. You will have all the cells of a frame, and you will have all the pixels and the information of them inside of here. You will have all the pixels of a frame and their information accordingly. And also you will have let me think. Yes, you will need a width and height. So I'll write it private and width, max width, and private and max height. Now let's create our cell. So in the data, I will create a new class called cell, right? Cell, and then here I will write public char content, and then get and set. Let me change the internal to public. It will probably be needed to be internal, but for now I would like to write it as public because that's the visibility is not our concern, so I don't want to have any problem at this moment. The other thing that a cell needs is having a public and a position, right? Position, there you go. And well, what else do we need? Maybe a color, but let's avoid having colors for now. Of course we can have colors, but maybe we add it at the end of the video, but for now let's just skip it. Now for cell, we just need to let me write the constructor for the cell here, and we actually don't want to have our default constructor, which is the constructor with no parameter. We want to have a character here as a content and a position, let's say position here, and this dot content position. Now to make sure that everything will work properly, I would like to add operator overloading here. I'll write public static bool operator equal, and now cell C1, cell C2. Now here I would like to write here And now, how can we understand if two cells are identical? That's not through their content. That's through their position. If both have the same position, so they are equal. You might say both having the same position and the content, but I'm not agreed with it because I believe the same position means the same cell. But of course, we have two different objects. One of the objects might have a different content, while the other one have a different content. So for me, it's just about position. So I will write position dot x is equal to c2 position dot x and c1 dot position dot y is equal to c2 dot position dot position dot y. Yeah, that's it. Now let me see, why is it red? Oh, because of the mismatching operator. All right, let's create the same thing for here and add asterisk. Now for here, let me add the parenthesis and having a asterisk at the end. Now, just for the sake of simplicity, I would like to override the equals function. Public override equals. So for equals, I would like to write if object is not cell, so return false. Now let's write variable cell c2 equal to casting to a cell from object, and now var c1 this. Now what we're going to do, we're going to copy this, return the copy, paste that, and let's remove this part. There you go. We'd implemented the equals, but we need to implement the hash code also, because that is a mandatory thing to make sure that your equal is actually working. So I will override that too. Public int override int hash code. For hash code, we need to return a unique int. We need to return a unique int so that we can understand if it's unique or not. We can leave it with the base.get hash code, but we can do better by just adding position.x plus position.y. That will produce a unique ID for our cell. Now let's head back to our map. Let's create a constructor here too. Public map. There we go. Map integer max width and int max height. Here again, this.max width and then this.max height. Coming down. Now let's also initialize our cells. Cells, new list, cells, and that's it. So for now, what do we want from the map? Well, we want a lot from the map, but for now, we only functions that will help for now is get the line and set the line. I will write them and you will see how they will be used. A string get line and now position here void set line position and the string of the line. There you go. Let's implement this. Yep. Okay, so take that. We have the starting position of the line, which is passed here as the position. And what do we want to do? We want to write a link query here into the cells. Cells.where cell cell dot position dot x shall be greater than position dot x, and also we want the cell dot position dot y be equal to position dot y. Now the other thing that we need to do, we need to write an order by x x dot position dot x dot to list, and now return it. Return. Now let's see, why does it have an error? Oh, because we're going to return a string, but we return an array of the cells. That's right. So let's write new a string parenthesis and close the parenthesis, remove dot to list, right, dot select x dot content, and now dot to array. That's it, boys. We could have now returned, let me prettify it. I created an array of the characters and then put it into the constructor of the string, right? The string and this character array. And then return the result. Well, that's good. Now let's go to the set line. So for the set line, the first thing I do, I will go and take the cells that are going to be modified. So writing var found cells, and in here cells dot to array dot, where we kind of need this part, so let me paste this here, and now I will write to list. Now we got the line, it's time to change it. Writing for, I will go and iterate through all of those cells, writing var cell, writing var I signed by 0, now I lesser than found cells dot count -1 and I++. I'm going to do here, I'm going to writing var modifying cell equals to found cell I is lesser than line the text the length, so we are allowed to modify our cell. I will write the cell dot content equals to line dot I, and then just continue. How else? Just fill it. If there was nothing, just fill the cell with the space. Cell dot content, here space, and there you go. Okay, now two other thing that we need is set cell and get cell, because we can't do anything with these cells. We need to have a way to just change these cells. Writing void set new cell, which we will receive a position and a character as a content, and the other one void edit cell and position and care content, writing position here, position here, enter and implement them. For the set new cell, I'll write the cells that add a new cell, which it requires to write, fill out the constructor, write the content and position. And for edit cell, we shall find the position first, and that's with cells dot first x dot position equals to position, there cell here. Now let's see what it says. Cannot be applied to the operand. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we shall just create an operand for that too. Let's go to the cells, take these, going to the position, replacing them, position, P2, P1, Also the same here. Copy and paste. Writing this one here. P2, P2, P1, P1. Removing this part, removing this part, removing this part. We have it. Let's copy. And again, paste. There we have it. Here is all the same. Position. Now we cast it to the position. It's also all the same. Copy and paste. Just copy and paste things. Let me change this part. Now here to the P and P. Well, that's it. Let's get back to the map. Now there you go. We have it. The only thing we need to do here is to, well, edit the content. Very easy. Now let's go to the frame here. Here we need to add the using of the position. There you go. Also added for this part because both were under the data folder. And now we have this part in here too. We shall add the using for the frame. We've got the good things here. And in here, we just need to pass a frame. Writing new some frame, which we really don't have right now. We need to implement the frame, a very simple frame. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you like this video and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell so you will be notified once I publish my next video. Thank you.